Another day in the NBA, and this one's a bit of a weird one. We're not a lot of pay-up options on the slate. Some games that seem like we might get some guys ruled out. We'll talk about it all here, and of course, go through it as we always do on the Splash Play channels. We're going to dig in, compare my NBA projections to one of the industry leaders out there, our friends over at Stokastic. We'll see what their data thinks, what my data thinks. We'll meet somewhere in the middle. We'll see what our top projected plays are, what our top value plays are. We'll see what the ownership is going game by game. We'll run a sim without my interference with Stokastic data, and maybe even do a hand build. By the end of this video, all the industry's must plays along with my splash plays. Today's November 18th NBA slate. Let's get into it. It was a good slate for you guys yesterday with the NFL going on. I know always people, I think, having a tough time managing them both, but I had a pretty good night in both, so I was happy with that. Hope it's a good one again today without the NFL distracting us. As always, going to show you guys my data here, my projections, which you get for yourself by joining the channel, but also I'll be showing you Stokastic data, which does update as the day goes on. Check it out for yourself with the link down in the description. Use that promo code SPLASH or get 15% off if you click the link or use that promo code. Same outcome either way. Let me retweet this too. But let's get into today's slate here. So it's a weird one because basically we really don't have any star players on the slate. You have guys like Wembanyama out, guys like Luka Doncic on the late slate. Cade Cunningham is a Q tag right now, and I personally would guess he doesn't play based on the fact that Detroit is a 1.5 point underdog on the road at Atlanta. That might be just not perfect back of napkin math. I don't have a betting model like my friend Josh Engelman does. I have only my DFS projections here. But I do think that Cade being out in the slate after missing yesterday, I don't think it'd be a big surprise here. We have Cade as a Q tag. Tobias Harris as a Q tag as well for Detroit. But basically on the slate, you got nothing to pay for. You have Luka Doncic on the late slate, Denny Avdija with no Drew Holiday, late slate, Devin Booker, late slate, Austin Reeves, you're getting LeBron back in. He still projects well for me. He's late slate. So as a result, Cade Cunningham's really the only one that's close in terms of top projected plays. Despite all that, only 7% ownership going Cade's way. I've got Cade much lower than Stokastic does. Only 46 fantasy points for me, 51 for Cade. And my data right now with Asar Thompson in the data set, Tobias Harris not in the data set, but he'll have to be added in. I think it'd be hard to project Cade super well at an 11K salary. So really the only reason you'd play him is that he's your one pay-up option on the slate. So Cade not looking good here, and I do have some questions about if he plays or not, because I feel like if he were playing, I think Detroit would be like a 1.5 point favorite on the road, but they are not. Shout out to the chat here. Appreciate all you guys watching live. Of course, all you guys watching after the fact as well. Channel is growing at a rate that, frankly, I'm surprised by here, our first month of the NBA season. So please help me out. Please keep hitting that like button. Please subscribing. And shout out to all you guys for all the kind words, all the love you've been showing here for hopefully good data. And if nothing else, good enough content. Passable content. Austin Reeves, getting late slate guy. We don't need to talk about him too much. With LeBron probably coming in with a minutes limit, Austin Reeves still looks okay at 8,600, but Reeves' production will suffer because of now having LeBron back in. You really want one of Luka, one of LeBron off for Reeves to have the production he's had so far this year. If those guys are in, the usage comes down, the assist rate comes down, rebounding comes down a little bit as well. So for Reeves at this point, if LeBron doesn't play, he looks better. If LeBron does play, he will meaningfully impact Reeves enough that he's an okay play, but not a great play. Jalen Duren went nuts yesterday as one of my splash plays. Hooray. Looks good again today. 8K salary has not come up. If Cade Cunningham is in, he looks good. If Cade Cunningham is out, he will also look even better. So Jalen Duren, one critique would be it is a back-to-back, but playing center against Onyeka Okongwu, Kristaps Porzingis, kind of spot where Duren could really go nuts again. He's been a great producer overall on the year, averaging 1.37, so basically 1.4 fantasy points per minute, 32 points per 100 possessions, 20 rebounds per 100. Looking good. Came through yesterday, and the price tag has not moved, so Jalen Duren chalky right now. And if Cade gets ruled out, even chalkier. Say a faint chance that Duren gets ruled out today too. And if that's the case, Isaiah Stewart would look a lot better as a starter after being pretty disappointing playing alongside Duren yesterday. But the minutes would get more secure for Stewart if you were to somehow get Duren out. He's not on the injury list or not on the NBA injury list right now. No Q tag or anything on Duren. But, Detroit could do some weird shit here late, so just keep an eye on it. Currently watching you while dropping a douche shirtless. Thank you. I appreciate the suspensor's bit, but for anybody watching this without context, this is the kind of intimate level of relationship I want to have with all of you. I want to know when you are defecating watching my stream. That's really all I've ever dreamed of. Man, the thumbnail today, De'Aaron Fox. You got no Wemby. You got no Stephon Castle. Still no Dylan Harper. Fox in a small amount of sample size. Going back to last year without those guys, and I think I took a few other Spurs that are no longer on the team off. But basically, he has averaged 1.65 fantasy points a minute, a 53% usage rate. Actually, no, 53% assist rate. Excuse me. That'd be crazy if you had that high of a usage rate. A 31% usage rate, though, also really high. Fox has been a very good player when you just basically take off every spur of note. You still will have guys like Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson trying to get some more shots up. But De'Aaron Fox, I tried to get his rates up a little bit more. Didn't take them all the way as what that small sample size is because, it's possible it comes down a little bit. But if you give Fox a 30% usage rate, a 45% assist rate, which I think is a conservative interpretation, he also gains a little bit of rebounds as well from having all the guys that are out for the Spurs. He looks like one of the best plays in the slate. And in fact, one of the guys you want to get to in this 8K range that looks better than the pay-up option range. So Fox, 55% for the field. I'm thinking him at 61, or I guess 62, let's say. Duren, closer to the field, 51 for that. But Duren and Fox, two of your key core plays right now, certainly splash plays, but also really chalk. It is a very, very chalky 4-game main slate. Got Jaylen Brown, 19% ownership for the field. I'm getting him at 25. My projection, dead even with Stokastic. Another guy that looks good in that 8K range. We're not paying all the way up necessarily. But Jaylen Brown, relative to Duren, relative to Fox, easily the third best play of that group. And Cade better projected as well, but it's a totally different price here, so hard to feel too great about that. For Jaylen Brown, though, really the big thing is that he's not going to be crazily owned, and you will see a good amount of ownership going to Derek White, it looks like. Peyton Pritchard will be similarly owned, but, consolidating ownership for Jaylen Brown and going that way as opposed to the very chalky players that have not played as well as Jaylen Brown on the year. It's always a logical thing to do for the Celtics. So being above the field a little bit for me and Jaylen Brown right now feels pretty good, but 19% for the field, that's a decent amount of ownership. Shout out my guy Tyler here, Emo Cowboy, does a lot of great work in the world of NFL. Now he's here in the NBA giving out memberships, so shout out to Trip getting the membership. Join the Discord. If you are also a member of the channel now, check the community tab if you want to learn how to access my projections, because sometimes you guys are signing up or trying to figure it out right before the show. And if I'm doing other content or if I'm just with my family, which is also the case, just got to be able to do the way that it says on there. So there's a link to join the Discord. Just sync your YouTube to your Discord on the settings page. And it's basically that. But shout out to all you guys who have been joining lately. Just trying to make it easier for you guys to figure it out without me having to handhold or give you advice. And then it's I don't know. Try to explain it succinctly. It's really the main thing. Michael Porter Jr., super chalk again. And also thank you to Tyler for gifting the membership too. Michael Porter Jr., 61% for the field. I'm getting him at 75. 2 straight games in a row of Michael Porter Jr. being over 50. 2 games before that, he's over 30. I've been getting Michael Porter Jr. every slate, so I'm getting the upside. I've had the downside too. I have now fully realized proper perspective on Michael Porter Jr. He's playing really well with Cam Thomas off. It's really the main thing. Usage has been up to 33%. His assist rate just shy of 20. For Michael Porter Jr., he's playing incredibly well. And again, has the 2 straight games, over 50 fantasy points. Match versus Boston is not good, but Porter Jr., one of his 50-point games, one of them was Washington, I believe. One of them was Orlando. So he's done it against a good defense, on paper. I think Porter Jr., the kind of player that my projections are rewarding for the hot start for the year, but he's always been a guy that can rebound, can put up a lot of points. The assisting, I think, is new. I think that's not something in Denver was happening a lot for him, but Jokic was there. Murray was there. You kind of get it. Porter Jr. is really evolving his game, and I feel like if you watch a Nets game, if you want to suffer along with me, because I watch a lot of Nets, because I'm playing a lot of Nets every slate, I think that he's been really playing well visually and looks like the most, active net, the biggest net. He also looks huge on the court too. And he will jack a lot of threes, so there's always huge upside there if he just knocks them all down. Porter Jr.'s shock, I don't foresee wanting to fade that too much. If you were to fade it, playing, I think Noah Clowney more, Claxton more, maybe Mann, Dioman more, just saying that usage, the production flows somewhere else. Boston maybe force him to pass a lot, traps him. I guess that's the way that maybe he fails his chalk. Thanks, and thank you. This kind words for Tyler. Much love, Spags. Respect the grind, and good luck on the slate. Thank you for that. I'm here every day, guys, Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. You guys know that for the NBA, but I really do appreciate seeing guys like Tyler who know me at this point for years. Recognizing the hustle here, and hopefully you guys do too. If you're new to the channel, I try to put as much work as I possibly can in preparing you guys for the NBA, for NFL, and my at Splash Play pod channel. So shout out to all you guys that have been a part of this very fun growth here to start the NBA year. So I'll keep trying to reward your guys' faith. And guys like Tyler as well. Jalen Johnson. So I'm low on him today. Porzingis being in is throwing off my projection for Jalen Johnson a lot. The day that he went for 90 fantasy points, I was all over him. Whatever piece of content that I was in, I was doing that day, played him in all my own lineups. For Jalen Johnson today, getting Porzingis in at 9,500, I don't see how you get there. Stokastic does have him for 48 fantasy points. That makes him playable. But I am getting 6%. The field's a 16. So to me, this 8K range, infinitely more important. Adding a Derek White in as well. We'll see in a moment. We sort by value. That's how my lineups are looking so far. But Jalen Johnson, I won't critique you because, he's a monster. He can put up a triple-double in any spot. And he literally put up 90 fantasy points within the last 2 games. And he put up 50, I think, the one after that. So, he's doing it. But having Porzingis in theoretically takes more production away on paper than I think Jalen Johnson's been getting. So that's sort of how I'm playing it with 9,500. And thank you for this. I will show you a fun growth. I appreciate the sentiment as always. Whenever we can make a dick joke here, we got to take it. Franz Wagner, guy's been playing incredibly well without Paolo Banchero and some of the other secondary Magic pieces going back to last year. We have seen overall Franz Wagner. I think this is also including guys like KCP off, whatever Magic players that took some minutes away but didn't do a whole lot. But Franz, 36% usage, 34% assist rate, 1.4 fantasy points per minute. I don't think he's shown the massive upside yet with Banchero out. And Desmond Bane, you could kind of assume that he could take some more work away in the projection. But Franz, to me, a guy that I'm happy to get above the field on when he is cheap enough here at 8,700. I think with Banchero out, I feel like his price tag should be more in the 9K range, just based on how Franz Wagner usually projects for me. But, the field's there a little bit. I'm there a little bit more. It's not really a big stand. We're going to sort by value next. And we got Vince Williams. So Vince Williams, interesting one. Let's quickly go to Memphis because last game we had Ja Morant get hurt in game. And we've seen this before with Ja Morant out. This has been the case. But you'll see here that Vince Williams started this game. You'll also note that he started alongside Zach Edey, Jaren Jackson, Jalen Wells, Cedric Coward. Vince Williams is a power forward, but he's basically Memphis's point guard, at least the guy who brings the ball up on offense a good amount for this team. He's their point guard. So he's at power forward here. Power forward in the slate is pretty bad. Jalen Johnson you have if you want to pay all the way up, but there's really nobody else mid-range value guys. It's kind of just Vince Williams. So on DraftKings today, Vince Williams coming up here. My projection's a little bit lower than Stokastic at 24. I'm still getting him in 53% of my top 150 lineups, but Stokastic has him in 67. So Vince Williams, I think a key value play today. I would love it if better value opened up. Vince Williams himself has not been a monster producer or anything with Morant off the court. He's average 0.99 fantasy points a minute, but not crazy usage, 19%, assist rate 20. He's good, but he definitely can get lost in the background a little bit. I've been playing Vince Williams lately, played him the day that Morant missed. I think it was against Boston. So I'm willing to go back here, but I would warn you guys, the minutes are not the most secure, and the ceiling feels a little bit more capped than it should, given how he's sometimes spiked massive upside. I think last season before he got hurt a bunch. Kelly Olynyk, really one of those spots where you play Olynyk, max one of him or Luke Cornett. These are your guys filling in for Wembanyama. Cornett's produced pretty well overall with Wemby off the court. I don't think I juked his rates at all. Let's look it up real fast over here. Go to add more funds because we got enough time. I feel like I'm making decent progress. Wowie. Here we go. San Antonio. Let's go to this year. And we got a lot of high usage guys off, with Wemby off, with Castle off, one of the guys who's been popping a lot in my projections to start the year. Harper as well. We'll take him off. It's not going to be a big sample size, but we'll get a read on how some of these guys have done. God, Lindy Waters has played 3 minutes and put up 3.1 fantasy points a minute. So that doesn't matter. Not a big sample size, but been production. De'Aaron Fox, you can see some of the rates here. Again, has not been a lot of time because Wemby or Castle or Harper have played a good amount. But Fox, 1.6 fantasy points a minute and about 6 possessions, which is not statistically significant, I would say. Olynyk hasn't played at all with Wemby, Castle, and Harper, or done anything rather with those guys off the court. This is mostly useless. Cornette. Let's just take Wemby and Harper off, I guess, and let's see if that helps. Because Castle being out is a new thing. Still not a lot of minutes this year. Only 9 possessions, 4 minutes for De'Aaron Fox. Luke Cornette. It's not a big enough sample size. I thought this would be more useful. Really, it speaks to, though, like how much the Spurs rotation is missing today. Because you don't have Wemby, because you don't have Castle, because you don't have Harper. Like, these are now 3 of your top producers all gone at this point for the team. So for Olynyk, the big thing, I was hoping to just see like how he's produced overall in the year for Olynyk as a Spur, and he's always been a guy that contributes pretty well across a bunch of categories. He's averaged 1.1 fantasy points a minute, including a 47% assist rate. That feels a little bit high. I think he probably gets a little more usage, a little bit less assist upside overall. Olynyk's been good. Really the big thing in the popcorn machine from last game without Wemby, which I will show you guys real fast here. It'll definitely be more useful than the NBA Wowie that has nothing to show for it. So there was no Wemby in this game. You could see Cornette played. Then they brought in Keldon Johnson briefly, then went to Olynyk. Second half, he's either Cornette playing or Olynyk. Then Olynyk went out. They went back to Cornette. Any minutes that Cornette didn't play, Olynyk came back in. So second half, it was just straight up a minute split between Cornette and Olynyk. So basically, if Olynyk were chalky and he's not at 12%, I think you'd want to play Cornette. If Cornette were chalky, and I don't think he's going to be super chalky either, you want to play Olynyk. As it is, the center spot might hit for these guys. They're not must plays. Like, I wouldn't make a rule, minimum 1 of Olynyk or Cornette, but it is a valuable spot that they are straight up splitting. And that's one of the spots in DFS where, like, when the ownership is going to one guy in a pure 48-minute timeshare, you want to play the other guy that's hit so many times this year, Pistons kind of situations. It's something to note if you did see, Cornette's ownership coming up or Olynyk's ownership coming up. Michael Porter Jr., we talked about top value, Shaedon Sharpe, Jeremy Grant, a lot of production being added to these guys because of having no Drew Holiday today. Wendell Carter does play pretty well without Banchero on the court. He's averaged for himself a number that I thought was surprisingly high. 21% usage, 15% rebound rate, 14% assist rate. Shoots pretty badly, or has shot pretty badly with Banchero, and again, KCP, Cole Anthony, I think I took off as well because he's a high usage guy. Shot pretty terribly with those guys off the court, but his average 0.9 fantasy points a minute. I think Wendell Carter, a decent center play. Not normally a Wendell Carter fan, but Banchero, as we talked about last video for Orlando, or last time I did a video in Orlando, was playing. It's just a black hole of usage that's gone now and gets distributed around a little bit more. So Carter looks better. Wagner looks better. Bain looks better, and at least in Stokastic data. Suggs looks better, assuming that he plays after going through a shoot around or walk through, whatever they called it this morning. Carter does benefit here. So Fields at 25.5. I got him at 37. Never an exciting play, but Wendell Carter projects well at around 30 fantasy points. Jalen Duren, we've talked about already, looks good. Julian Champagnie, another guy who benefited from the Spurs lack guys in the rotation. Castle out in the second half of last game. Champagnie came in, played about 14 minutes, I believe, would have ended up at 28 if you assume that carries over to the full game. He did not close, so that's something where it was Fox, Vassell, Cornette, Barnes, and Keldon Johnson closing. So Champagnie's minutes a little bit more at risk, but he should play mid-20s minutes at least, maybe high 20s minutes. Never a great producer as Champagnie, but I project him for 26 fantasy points. Stokastic has him for 25. De'Aaron Fox, we talked about. Derek White, we did not get to the top projected plays, but he looks good. He's basically been due to shoot better this entire year. He's slowly starting to shoot a little bit better overall, but still overall on the year at 48% true shooting. League average is 58. And Derek White's like a good shooter, so he should be at some point hitting a lot of shots to kind of catch up to what the expectation would be. He's only got 31% from 3 on the year, 36% from the floor. That all seems due to creep up. But Derek White, he's really chalky on this slate, 42% ownership expected. I'm getting him more than the field, but I do think if you were to play a little bit less Derek White, assume production flows more to Jaylen Brown, has been really good. Peyton Pritchard, who's getting back to his old form a little bit more. It might be a logical move. But Derek White's been playing like 38 minutes lately for Boston. So the 33.5-minute projection might be a little bit light for him. And against Brooklyn, if he plays like that entire stint, Brooklyn is one of the worst defenses in basketball right now. So this could be kind of a get well spot for Derek White. I just hate playing, and I've talked about a lot with Derek White specifically. I hate playing the get well spots when the ownership is like entirely there, and the ownership is entirely there. We're going to go game by game here. Before I do that, guys, one quick ask. Please do hit that like button. Please subscribe. A bunch of you guys watching live here. But your support goes a long way for this channel. I'm just one dude showing you my gambling. The NBA here Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. Of course, my NFL channel as well, at Splash Play Pod. You get me 3 times a week on there, Monday, Thursday, and Friday for your big showdown slates and your main NFL slate. But support the channel here. Again, I appreciate the support. As always, you guys hitting that like button. Let's keep it going here. Let's keep fighting that uphill battle against YouTube. And check out Stokastic too, which the data, of course, they graciously allow me to show you guys here on screen. But an important part of the process, looking at industry data that's winning people a lot of money in a given slate. My old boss, Tom, the CEO over there, finished first place again in NBA yesterday with Stokastic data. And look, if you used my optimal lineup and my projections, you would have finished top 1,000. Like, I could say that because I played my optimal lineup in the big tournament yesterday with the NFL slate going on. It's usually what I do. For Tom, he's killing it in NBA, and he's granted a very good DFS player, but he's using Stokastic data and Sims tools. So, and there are other people that are not the CEO of that company that are winning a lot of money. So check it out for yourself. Obviously, I hopefully have good projections for you guys as well. But if you wanted to use professional caliber data at Stokastic, the Sims products is all 15% off. The cheap stuff, the expensive stuff, 15% off at the link down below. Use the promo code SPLASH. If you're on Twitter, link in my bio. All right, so we got Golden State here. No Kuminga, but nobody looks good with their 113 implied points. Steph Curry, 11.5% ownership for the field. I only got 8 in my top 150. I am 2 fantasy points lower than Steph Curry as well. Jimmy Butler, same thing here. These guys feel like tournament options against Orlando. I feel like Steph has gone nuts in Orlando before, but that's totally anecdotal, and I don't care about DVP for it all. But, you know, for Steph, the upside's a lot higher with Kuminga's usage being off the court. Same thing for Butler, so... I guess theoretically Pajemski, Moody, not really, but theoretically. It's just not a great total, and Orlando is at least a league average, a little bit better than a defense. Both defenses really pretty decent. Orlando side has much more ownership with Franz, Bane, Suggs, Wendell Carter, all these guys, 20% or more owned. Wagner, I'm above the field on. Bane, I'm really low on here. I let Bane have his rates from last year because he really hasn't shown enough so far this year in Orlando. Court time without Banchero, it hasn't gotten much better either. He has only averaged... You know, I took him off, actually, because like his rates didn't help. So he basically is like getting no assists, barely getting an increase in usage. I can look up in NBA WoW real fast just because... I hate saying things and not showing you guys the numbers that are involved. Let's take off Banchero. Not a big sample size for Bane without Banchero. Banchero has played a lot this year. But still 47 possessions, 19 minutes. Only 22% usage, 14% assist rate. Rebound rate, doesn't really gain anything. And he's been shooting well with 69% true shooting, but only averaging 0.84 fantasy points a minute. Now, again, this is not a big sample size. We want 1,000 possessions, and this is 47. So it's pretty light. But the main thing for Bane is, like, I don't see anything underlying that makes me think I should want to get him 27% here. Because in Orlando, he has not shown the upside reliably. He's still not shooting well in the year. He's still only averaging 0.88 fantasy points per minute. But obviously, Bane was good in Memphis. I just think the hierarchy here is Wagner, Suggs ahead of him. Wendell Carter, I think, closer to him in usage and opportunity than Bane fans will probably want to see on the slate. Boston, 116.5 implied points going against Brooklyn, one of the worst defenses in basketball. Actually, might be flat out the worst defense. Getting up to 123.5 points per 100 possessions, so pretty bad number. Boston playing pretty slow on the year. Nets a slight pace up as a result, even though they are also generally a pretty slow team. Jaylen Brown under 20%, Pritchard under 20, Derek White over 40. To me, that just says try to take a little more Jaylen Brown, a little more Peyton Pritchard. If I were doing lineups with the solver, one way to do that is like you can kind of you can make a rule and not kind of, I shouldn't use these modifiers that you don't need. You can make a rule where basically you say like, if not playing Derek White in a lineup, boost Jaylen Brown and Peyton Pritchard 15%, and that sort of naturally levels it out. For Stokastic, you kind of have to go through and manually say, all right, let me get some Derek White lineups. Let me get some White with Brown and Pritchard lineups. Let me get some lineups where I don't play Derek White, where I say no Derek White, yes Jaylen Brown or Peyton Pritchard, maybe both. That's sort of the way to play it, because I think right now, I mean, this always happens projection-wise. You guys know this at this point. If Derek White's projection comes in low, probably means that Brown scored a little bit more. Pritchard scored a little bit more. It could also mean Anthony Simons sit off the bench, but the projection's not really there for Simons. I really wouldn't want to play him on the slate. The other two I would play. So I think Brown and Pritchard playable, and I'm happy to be above the field on them while also being above the field on Derek White. Brooklyn on their side, a lot of ownership for Michael Porter Jr. Like we talked about, he deserves it with how he has played in general this year and with Cam Thomas off the court, especially. Nick Claxton, Noah Clowney, Terrence Mann, these guys, all the same thing, kind of leverage against that really chalky Michael Porter Jr. ownership. But Porter Jr. is playing well. The fact that he can play well against Orlando would make me think he can play well against Boston. But, you know, it is a Boston team that still defends well. And Porter Jr., I feel like when he starts missing shots, other guys start getting some in. He can lose that upside a little bit more. But I'm above the field on Porter Jr. with him being one of the chalkiest plays in the slate with 61% expected ownership. Detroit, Cade Q-tag, Asar Thompson Q-tag, Tobias Harris Q-tag, Karis LeVert's going to be out. So this stuff's going to move around a little bit. Jalen Duren, though, not on the injury report as of right now, as of 2:30 p.m. on the East Coast. I kind of thought that it might be a spot where Cade and Duren and Asar and Tobias and whatever else all got ruled out in the back half of the back-to-back. Not the case here. Duren crushed yesterday. Willing to go back to it again because the Atlanta matchup puts no fear in your heart. But Duren's been really great. His PRA's number to me would be pretty much even with Cade Cunningham. As I've mentioned enough times, these guys are scoring pretty similarly per 100 possessions. It doesn't feel like it because Cade has gone nuts. But, Cade has also had games where it took 46 shots to go off. Still, I kind of feel like Cade's not going to play. I feel like if Cade's in, this should be Detroit favored lightly on the road. It's not the case, though. Cade is a Q tag, so keep your eye on this one later on today. Speaking of later on today, we'll be on the deeper dive with Josh Engelman at 5 p.m. And because Alex is going to be having meetings, my wife Alex is going to be having meetings, I'm going to get Luca early and put him in front of the TV for me doing a stream with Josh and her doing meetings. So that's great parenting. That's kind of parenting sacrifices that occur here. We'll get to watch Carl the Collector, maybe Daniel Tiger. He's really been into Daniel Tiger. Daniel Tiger is so fucking vanilla. It's not even missionary as Daniel Tiger. He's like a hand job through the pants as Daniel Tiger. We should not refer to children's shows as hand jobs through the pants, but like, ugh. Atlanta, when Bluey, I don't know. Bluey, a much better thing than a hand job through the pants. Atlanta, 115.5 implied points. Jalen Johnson not coming up for me here. Dyson Daniels not really coming up for me here. Okongwu, not at all at 7,200 with Porzingis in. Feels like a play. You need Porzingis out on a Hawks back-to-back to want to get to Okongwu. But Porzingis has been playing at a 1.31 fantasy per minute pace. This matchup, nothing we're terribly worried about on Detroit's side. Even though Duren's really good, he's a good rim protector. He's not going to go defend Porzingis really hard above the key. I think Porzingis a good play today. That said, there is a push-pull, and I think in the projections here, where I'm favoring Porzingis and his cap minutes, but Jalen Johnson's going to play a lot more. He's really good. And he's a lot better than Porzingis, even though the fantasy points minute look pretty close. So I'm getting Porzingis here, but I wouldn't be mad at you if you were to flip the ownership here and get 18% Jalen Johnson instead of the fade I have going on him relatively. And Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 2x the field for me here. Trae Young being out does make Alexander Walker look better on paper, but he's kind of failed a lot lately. I don't think he has a good situation with Jalen Johnson in because Johnson's just a better player who makes the offense run better. He creates assists. Alexander Walker not really doing that, but he's getting his own shot. 25% usage rate overall in the year, so he's out there. Watched some Carl the Collector on PBS yesterday. The kid digs it, saying that's our favorite show. That autistic raccoon does a good job. Like still Bluey, we watch sometimes, but yeah, Daniel Tiger, just nothing for me. Doesn't wear pants. Carl wears pants. Carl wears clothes. He rides bikes. Daniel Tiger. I didn't know he took the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood franchise. It's weird. It's weird to make an animated tiger Mr. Rogers. I don't. I got a lot of issues with Daniel Tiger. Memphis 114 implied points here. San Antonio 119.5. 119.5. So even with Wemby and Castle and Harper off, we are seeing Memphis here without Ja, a weaker team in the markets. Jaren Jackson gave him the rate boost with no Ja Morant. I've got him 2 fantasy points higher than Stokastic, and he's not coming up. 4% owned by the field. Jaren Jackson should at some point spike an upside more. He's been a guy that could put up 30% usage rates, get some blocks, get some rebounds. I don't think he projects well right now because he hasn't played well. So, I know it's like a simplistic way to say it, but like he really hasn't played that well this year. So Jaren Jackson going against San Antonio. The matchup's definitely easier than it is on paper with no Wemby. So maybe it's a spot he goes off. Coward, a little bit expensive at 6,300. Shooting guard, small forward. He's finally regressing closer to where he should be in terms of true shooting. I could say that could stand to lose a few more points as well. But Coward playing decent minutes because there's no Ja Morant. And, whenever Vince Williams is not playing the point guard, Coward does get to start some offense. Aldama does. They all get to do a little bit of bullshit out there without Ja Morant. Zach Edey not coming up for me here. I should probably mess with his usage rates a little bit because I don't think him with a 0% assist rate is going to be holding up forever, but that means that he's not gotten an assist so far on the year, I'd presume, in the data. So that's not great for a player that we want fantasy points to come from. But if I were to move Edey's rates back to where it's been historically, you would still only project for the same amount of fantasy points. So Edey, not a good play to me no matter what. Aldama, the field's there, 26% ownership. I got 15. He looks okay. Really, these guys all look okay. I don't think Aldama should be chalky as he is going to be. Morant being off definitely offers upside here, but Memphis is just like, nobody's good. Nobody's playing well. Nobody's doing things. These are things we look for. Vince Williams is value chalk, though. I'm cool with him. He does a little bit of everything, and Memphis needs a little bit of everything at this point. But he definitely can disappear into the background if other guys start chucking around him. In San Antonio, we've talked a lot about Fox has played really well in the small sample sizes without the various guards and Wemby. He'll get all the usage he can handle. He's shooting well in the air at 61% true shooting, and now he's facing a team that's not very good overall and probably even worse with Ja Morant off. Devin Vassell getting above the field on him, with the field at 20% ownership for Luke Cornett, getting a little more of Keldon Johnson, 27% for me, Fields 23. Champagnie, I think, will start today based on the fact he started a second half last game with Castle going out. He looks okay, not a great producer though, feels like one of those guys that maybe you don't play in lineups and then just let whatever value pop up, see how you do. But he'll play minutes, so, it's always hard to fade minutes at NBA DFS. Kelly Olynyk, I would not play with Luke Cornett, but I do think he's a good play at 3,800. Just has to steal a few minutes away from Cornett, foul trouble. He's a good producer and has crazy assist upside so far as a Spur. These were the late games, but if you care, Utah, Markkanen, and George look okay. Nothing else. Collier, not terrible. Lakers with LeBron in, nothing looks good. If LeBron's out, Luka and Austin Reeves playable, I would say, going against Utah. Phoenix, Dylan Brooks continues to project well for me. He's hit a lot of times in my data so far when he has played. Devin Booker probably has more upside than the projection. Goodwin, Ryan Dunn, decent value. Gillespie, not bad. Still got Grayson Allen out. Portland looks great because of no Drew Holiday. He's been getting usage up, creating a lot of assists as well. So Avdia, Sharp, Kamara, Grant, Klingon, they're all playable. Grant, Sharp, and Avdia. Sharp and Avdia have massive ceilings. Everybody else, I think, look pretty good too. All right, so that's the game-by-game view. We're making decent pace here, so let's go over to Stokastic next. So you've seen what my data looks like. Let's see what they have for us. I don't think they've updated. Let me make sure. Yeah, no updates for a few hours, so still going to have the old Piston stuff in there. But shout out to all you guys watching live again real fast. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe here. Again, fighting the YouTube algorithm here every single day. But I want to keep moving up the food chain as best I can and try to get more impressions because then people click the link and then they watch and then they enjoy the content usually. So that's what we're hoping here. You guys have been really helpful. So please keep helping me out as we fight the good fight here on YouTube every Monday to Friday at 2 p.m. Showing you my data, showing you the process in the NBA looks like, even if you want to go do, as you always should, whatever you want to do with your money at the end of the day. And of course, a big way to support me is what I'm trying to do here is checking out Stokastic. 15% off. It's the only deal they have going right now. I'm sure they'll have some for Thanksgiving coming up for NFL, but for NBA, you're probably not getting any for a while. So check it out. All the cheap stuff, just the data, lineup generator tools, the expensive stuff like the Sims, multi-sport packages. It's all 15% off. You click the link down in the description or use the promo code SPLASH, and half the money you pay to them comes back into me. So really had a good month last month. Got paid for it today, so so my wife can shut the fuck up. But for real though, like get yourself good data and also make my wife shut the fuck up because oh my god, she won't. Ever since I started working for myself, it's fucking nah. So help a brother out. That's real, guys. But that's real. But I'm whispering it even to the mic. Learning bluey balls is better than over the pants. Got it. Well, most lineups have a center and utility spot given the value. I would think so, yes. I think a lot of what I've been building so far seems center forward, but I appreciate that. And thank you for the kind words. Shout out to all you guys watching live. We try to have fun here amidst the data and the constant reading out of lineups. Number one lineup, though, for Stokastic data. So no interference from me. You've seen what my stuff has, what my data looks like. Let's see what Stokastic thinks. Igor Diomin, Terrence Mann. So we got some Nets in here. And we're fading Porter Jr. Vince Williams, the value, makes it in. Noah Clowney makes it in as well. So a pretty big way that they're fading the Nets. Again, you're fading Michael Porter Jr. is that you're getting Diomin, getting Mann, getting Clowney. Is exactly what we talk about here. If the projections don't hit for the highly owned guy, they might have meaningfully exceeded for the other guys in the team, especially with somebody who does get as many stats, as many points, as many shots up as Porter Jr. does, as many assists as he's getting lately. These guys all will stand to gain if he somehow just doesn't hit those marks. But Porzingis is also in this one. De'Aaron Fox is in it. Jalen Johnson and Porzingis together. So just kind of saying the Hawks have an outlier situation. And Jalen Duren makes this one as well. Again, Cade Cunningham is in the data set, but Duren still looks good at that 8K salary, even with Cade in. Number 2 is Igor Diomin again. Julian Champagnie makes it here for some value from the Spurs that should start. Vince Williams, same thing for Memphis. Guys should start. Jalen Johnson and Porzingis again. Derek White makes this one. Aldama makes this one. And Jalen Duren yet again. Number 3, you got Jalen Suggs, Julian Champagnie again, Vince Williams, Jalen Johnson, Nick Claxton, De'Aaron Fox. So we are fading Porter Jr. for other Nets in all these lineups so far. Josh Minott, minutes are less secure for Boston. I don't love it, but he is cheap enough. Porzingis makes this one as well with Jalen Johnson. So the Hawks bigs making all the top 3 so far. Number 4, the ROI lineup here, according to Stokastic. You have Derek White, Terrence Mann, Asar Thompson, Jalen Johnson again, Nick Claxton, De'Aaron Fox, Vince Williams again, Kelly Olynyk makes this one. And number 5, Igor Diomin again, Terrence Mann again, Jaylen Brown, Santi Aldama, Porzingis, De'Aaron Fox, Asar Thompson, Luke Cornett. So some similarities there to take away for sure. Highest ROI, guys. We got Jalen Johnson, a 5% ROI. So I'm not getting him a lot. Does worry me. I don't know what I can tweak in the rate data. I think Porzingis being in is just fucking it up for me. But you can see that Stokastic likes Jalen Johnson, likes Porzingis, likes them together a lot. He's your top ROI player is Jalen Johnson. Igor Diomin at number 2. Kristaps Porzingis at number 3. So there you go. You're seeing him in all the top lineups, and you got 1 and 3. So, okay. Josh Minott at number 4. Kelly Olynyk, number 5. Terrence Mann. Asar Thompson not too far behind. Though there is no Tobias Harris in the data set, so keep that in mind. Harris being in, if everybody plays for Detroit, it all looks a little bit less good, including Duren. Vince Williams Jr., 69% exposure overall. Very nice number in Stokastic's top 150 lineups. Fields at 67, so slightly positive lean for Vince Williams Jr. De'Aaron Fox, 59% exposure. Fields at 56. The Stokastic data liking De'Aaron Fox, as I think they should today. Jalen Johnson, big stand above the field here. 43% more in the field. For Jalen Johnson, 57% exposure, Fields at 14. Julian Champagnie, slight fade, but you're still getting 41%, Fields at 42 and change. And Wendell Carter above the field as well, 39%, Fields at 26. So, all right. Highest leverage plays. What is the chats? Standing at park with sun and just had a oops when I went to pass gas. Great. Thank you for sharing. Again, I'm glad to know we've got people shitting shirtlessly. We've got people passing gas and sharding. Love to hear it. Now you got to play a lineup for Spags. Look, I do feel like my optimal lineup every night's performing well. It's not giving you the upside to win a tournament. Most optimals won't. But I do think with my data, hopefully you guys who are using it out there, because there are a lot of you guys that have been joining lately. Shout out to all of you have. Hope you guys are finding good value to the data. And just keep in mind that projections are just median outcomes, whether it's my data, whether it's Stokastic. So, half the time it goes over, half the time it goes under. It's up to you to figure out how to leverage that idea relative to ownership and all that. So that's when you figure that out, you've won NBA DFS. And not a lot of people have figured that out. Myself included when actually playing lineups. Jalen Johnson, you're getting 43% more in the field. We saw that already. Very big leverage on Jalen Johnson here. He's in a lot of the top ROI lineups. Kristaps Porzingis, 24% leverage for him. Only going to be 12% played by the field. In Stokastic's data, you were getting 37. So they are loving the Atlanta spot versus a Detroit team on a back-to-back. Igor Dioman, 21% more in the field. He's in 1/3 of the top on 50 lineups. Only 12% expected ownership. Jaylen Brown, 15% positive leverage. So curious to see what they have for Derek White. Derek White, they're under by 14%. And then they're over by 15 on Jaylen Brown. And under on Pritchard. So really just favoring Jaylen Brown. Light on Derek White, light on Peyton Pritchard are the lineups here. Kind of surprised to see they're not high on Pritchard and Brown as a lever against Derek White. But Wendell Carter, 13% more in the field. Terrence Mann, 12% more. These guys pretty close together. Biggest fades, Michael Porter Jr., only 26% exposure, fields at 60. So pretty big fade on Michael Porter Jr. He's playing really well, man. It's always tough for me because guys like this, your Quentin Grimeses, your Miles Bridges last year, Cat, if you guys watch the streams, some of the guys were regularly my favorites in data that kept hitting. I find it hard to not keep going to the well on them. That said, Porter Jr. is playing Boston, and he's hit 2 straight 50-point games. It's a lot of ownership for the field. I like Porter Jr. because he projects even better for me than this 41 fantasy points Stokastic has. But I think with ownership being where it is, it might not be, and the sim telling you too, might not be crazy to jump off the Porter Jr. train. I won't, but for you guys out there, that might be a good game theory move for tournaments. Desmond Bane, Stokastic fading pretty meaningfully. 4% exposure, fields at 26. He's not popped up in my data either, but, negative 22% leverage in Stokastic data as well. Jalen Duren, slight fade, negative 15% leverage. He's still in about 40% of lineups, but not as much as the field's 53% with Cade and no Tobias in the data set currently. And Derek White, 28% exposure, fields at 43. So a fade on him that is noteworthy. You're getting more Jaylen Brown, but not more Peyton Pritchard. Keldon Johnson closed last game for the Spurs. Stokastic is getting half the exposure here. Only 11%, fields at 23. We'll do a hand build real fast for this little 4-gamer. We'll call it a day. And of course, to close out the video, you guys will get the my splash plays for the day, but this lineup is always going to be pretty similar in concept to what my splash plays are. I think Vince Williams, I hate the power forward spot, and I also don't think I'm going to put in Jalen Johnson. So I'm going to put Vince Williams in as my power forward. Again, he's a point guard for Memphis, but on this slate, he is a small forward, power forward for reasons. I am going to play Michael Porter Jr. Sim hates him, but as we always say here, fuck the sim. Can you help me have an easier time with it? Please explain, Jack. I'd be curious to hear how I would have an easier time. You're telling me to use the optimizer? What is the... Well, I am curious. You've piqued my interest. Point guard. De'Aaron Fox for me. The point of it is me doing a hand build. You see. I don't need to build off of the projections. I'm building guys of how I want to build stuff. But yes, I understand that I can complete the lineup. Thank you for mansplaining it to me. God, I that's what it feels like, by the way. That's how women feel when that happens. What? No idea. That's true. I am new here. It's my first day. Fuck the sim. Sims are really important. Even if you're not going to play what the sim gives you, and you still should usually do that, given how many people are winning every fucking day with this stuff. You should use sims to understand how the field works, what good lineups look like, how top lineups leverage against highly owned plays. and still get you well-projected stuff. Sims are a very important part of the process. You'll never hear me besmirching Sims on this show. I am going to go Derek White. Sim didn't like Derek White, but he is popping in my data. Got to give him 2 R's. Much like a pirate. Derek White, 2 R's. Shooting guard. I think in my data, Peyton Pritchard, Champagny as well. Champagny. I also like that Jack. And again, not to keep piling on to Jack here. I like that you think like I want the segment of the show to be like me just hitting a tool that allows me to optimize. I know Josh does that. Like, and that's just the starting 5 concept for NBA. Great video. But here people want to see me build the whole thing. They want to see me make the clicks. They want to see me. Look, Jalen Duren. Ooh, get worked up, guys. I'm putting him in. Oh, wait, no, not Jalen Johnson. Oh, man, I should have hit complete lineup. I wouldn't have put him in accidentally. Oh, we got 5,100 left for a couple spots. We got MPJ in. We've got Vince Williams. These are my forward guys that I want the most. Jeremy Grant is on the late slate. I wish I could play him. I hate forward today, really, with a passion. Isaiah Stewart looks okay to me, and Tobias Harris is not in the data set, so that could work. Maybe I should play Champagny at forward. Play a different guard. Because he's shooting guard, small forward. I think there might be better shooting guard plays than forward plays. I will take whatever ROI score I get. And to be clear, it's not like a fucking competition here. I don't win a medal getting positive ROI, but I do get a positive ROI. I don't think you've watched enough streams, Jack. You're really slandering the show and being a fool. I'm going to put in Peyton Pritchard as well. He is a shooting guard. Yeah, the point of this exercise is like to find a lineup that Stokastic could be a positive ROI on that also matches what I would like to do with my splash plays. And Kelly Olynyk, I think, is going to be this last spot here. 3,800, big value play. We're going to go large field. We'll see if we get a positive ROI or not. I think we will, though. Though the Sim did not love Derek White, so maybe not. Sim did not love Derek White or Michael Porter Jr., but maybe. -14! All right, well, you know what? Here. Okay, Sim. We'll do it Jack Koff's way, which is, by the way, a troll name now that I've said it out loud. Saying jack off is what he's saying. We'll put some variants on. The Sim gives us a very exciting De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Martin, Michael Porter Jr., Vince Williams, Jalen Duren, Derek White. It gave me a negative ROI lineup too. Jack, what's going on? It's all love. I'm still getting negative ROIs. Let's try it again. Let's up the randomness. Let's go 20. We'll double the randomness. We're getting real random in here. We are the Penguin of Doom. This lineup, I'll read it too while it sims. Tyrese Martin again. Coward, Jaylen Brown, Vince Williams, Luke Cornett. What? Scroll, Sim. Why won't you go down? What else is in this lineup? I can't tell. I'm going to zoom out. Maybe that'll help. Here we go. Got to zoom all the way out. Desmond Bane, Asar Thompson, Jalen Duren, 15% ROI. We've done it, gang. We've done it. It's funny, though, that like I guess it was too close to the optimal, maybe. But it is funny that it did not like its own lineup. You can't win with these Sims, guys. I'll tell you what. Still an important part of the process. When a negative 83% lineup wins tonight, it'll all be Jack's fault. That's true. That's true. It's the Sims' fault. It's Jack Koff's fault. I swear to God, I've seen this fucker's name. He's a Stokastic chatter a lot. I've seen this name so many times. I never once put together that it was Jack Off until saying it out loud. So like, this is not a bit. It's fucking with me. Anyway, guys, I'm going to give you guys my splash plays for the day, which might have been obvious. They won't sim well, but I'm going to give them to you again. Before I do that, though, please do hit that like button. Please subscribe. It goes a long way for me here. Just one dude showing you my gambling as best I can for the NBA. I prepare as hard as I possibly can for the NBA, for the NFL, and my @SplashPlay pod channel. Hopefully that shines through. Hopefully the joy I get from doing this for you guys and for myself every day shines through as well. But please do hit the like button. Please subscribe. It is always an uphill battle on YouTube, and I'm fighting a good fight here. This channel is like moving at a rate that I'm feeling good about. So let's just keep working hard here and support if you can. Another way to support is to join the channel as well. $5. It's the easiest way to support. You get access to a Discord if you do. If you want my projections, the matchup screen that I show you here on screen, join the Squirt Squad tiers down below as well. But you can join on iOS. You can charge a little bit more VIG on there. You can also join, in the link in the description too. But do join the channel. And last but not least, Stokastic, getting a great presenting sponsor. Well, not presenting sponsor. They don't pay me anything directly for the shows. When you guys go sign up, though, I do make money off of it. So big way I'm able to do what I do here for the NBA, for the NFL, is you guys click in that Stokastic link down below, getting 15% off using the promo code SPLASH. All right, Splash plays for the day. We got, for me, Vince Williams, 1. Michael Porter Jr., Jalen Duren, whether we get Caden or not, is going to be another one. De'Aaron Fox, 1. Derek White's super chalky, but I will say he is 1, even though I do think there is good game theory sense in fading Derek White in some lineups, playing Jaylen Brown, playing Peyton Pritchard, or both in lineups where you don't play Derek White. Wendell Carter's going to get into a lot of my lineups. I really don't love him as a player, but I think he's a splash play today. And I think, let me just sort by projection on this screen that you guys can't see me actually looking at. Anybody else in the top options? Porter Jr., Duren, Fox. Yeah, that's it. That's your splash plays for the day, guys. So hope it adds some value. I will be on the deeper dive with my good friend Josh Engelman at 5 p.m. Eastern today. So stay tuned there for Stokastic later on today. Stay tuned there. Was not the way to promote that, but go tune in later today, and I'll be on there later. Make sure to gamble responsibly, guys, even though it is always money time here on this channel. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow this channel at Splash Play Bets, or on Twitter at Splash Play Pod. And I will see you guys again at 5 p.m. today. So enjoy your days. If I don't catch you later, good luck. And let's see what injury chaos awaits the next few hours. All right. Bye, guys.